What if I told you that you can do anything? You'd largely agree with me because you know that given enough time and effort, us human beings are capable of achieving some pretty incredible things. And thankfully, right now we live in the age of the entrepreneur and the self-starter, and all the information we could ever want is just a hey Google away.
The Sun and Earth are currently about 147,300,000 kilometers apart.
I think subconsciously we know we can make our wildest dreams come true, but we don't. We don't because making our wildest dreams come true is usually a long-term process. They're usually big goals where we have to work on consistently over a long period of time to get there. And because the reward for doing something is so far away, our motivation's not there either. Personally, I'm a lot more motivated to play video games because there the reward is instant and apparent. I kill a dude and unlock a gun. I kill another dude and unlock an attachment. I kill another dude and unlock a skin. And it just keeps going. I'm constantly being rewarded. There's this lovely positive feedback loop. If only real life was so simple. If only we could somehow take the positive feedback loop from video games and apply it to our long-term goals. Hello everyone, my name is Martin. Welcome to my channel where I share ideas about better living. I've been telling lots of my friends about an app that's been helping me stay motivated, making consistent progress towards my long-term goals, and I want to share that with you. Before I tell you about the app, I'd like to get you on board of why consistency is so important for us to achieve our goals. And there's a theory which goes that in order to master a skill, we need to spend 10,000 hours practicing it. The Beatles were seen doing this with their excessive touring in their early years, and I've seen videos where Ed Sheeran talks about how he used to write a song every day. Why getting to 10,000 hours is relevant to us is because ultimately achieving our wildest dreams is also a long-term process. Without a doubt, if you want to make the fastest progress towards your goals, you have to make it a regular thing. In reality, you probably have to make it a daily thing. Because doing things daily builds aptitude, and when you're getting better at something, that's a motivating force which keeps you going. I'll give you an example of how I learned this the hard way. At one point, I was doing 5 different sports in the week: skateboarding, parkour, tricking, calisthenics, and dragon boat racing. I know it was super fun, but because I was only practicing once a week, progress was real slow, and if something happened where I missed the training day or I had some kind of appointment and I couldn't attend, then I'd miss out a lot of time between training sessions. And ultimately what ended up happening is because my skills didn't end up growing, I lost all motivation to attend at all. So yes, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices, but that's okay, because if you're not happy to make those sacrifices for those things, then it's probably not that important to you in the first place. And don't be sad or discouraged that you're gonna have to maybe go to bed on time and stuff like this. The idea I'm trying to share here is that by assigning a little bit of time every day to the things that matter to you, over a long period of time, those little efforts are gonna have a big impact on your life. And actually, because it's only going to be a small portion of your time, you're not actually going to have to change your life much to accommodate it. Like the way I think about it is this. I'm 28 now. If when I was 18, I started, practicing photography for a half hour every day, I would be so much better because I'd have 10 years of experience. And it wouldn't have cost me anything. I might have had to play video games a little bit less, but right now, I'd be reaping those rewards big time. And that's the kind of message I'm trying to share here. Okay, so we get that we have to be consistent. The challenge, though, with long-term goals is how can we stay motivated when usually progress on these things is hard to measure? What's worked for me was setting myself the structure of the things that I need to work on daily in order to get to my long-term goals, and then taking the positive feedback loop from video games, which is where the reward follows the action instantly, to make turning those daily things into a habit more fun. And this was done through a free app. The app that I'm trying to get you on board with is called a habit tracker. A habit tracker is essentially a tick list which monitors your progress over a period of time. And when you see your progress on the calendar, it keeps you motivated because you see this kind of chain of events and you don't want to break it. If you're familiar with Duolingo, it works on the same principle where you have a streak and it encourages you to keep the streak going for as long as possible. And that's what keeps you coming back for more. Habitica is the app that I've been using to track my habits. It's a little bit different where instead of you monitoring a streak, although it does have that feature, you're actually monitoring a character that you make. It works by you assigning yourself daily tasks called dailies, which are the things that you want to work on or the behaviors you want to develop in order for you to get to where you want to be, reach your goals. And when you complete one of those dailies, you're rewarded with gold and experience. And if you fail to do one of those dailies, then your health gets damaged. And over time, if you fail to do a lot of those dailies, your character can even die. And it works surprisingly well because you have like a visual representation of how you're doing at a certain amount of time. And because I've been such a fan of video games, it's like I'm very familiar with the kind of reward mechanism of leveling up a character, except that in this case, I'm not leveling up a character, I'm actually leveling up myself. And the character is just a representation of how well I'm doing. Usually you start off looking like a wimp, and then over time you end up looking, well, yeah, all gold and all this stuff. And there's loads of other systems in there that keeps you playing. For example, there's a party system where you can do quests with friends, and when you're questing, if you fail to do it daily, then your whole party loses health, which kind of makes you accountable. Likewise, there's other times when like I've really wanted to get a certain amount of gold so I can buy a cool new quest for a party, which has kind of encouraged me to make sure I do my dailies today. And there's loads of other ways of setting up the app, so it works for you. I'll probably end up making a video of how I set mine up, so stick around if you want to find that out. Ultimately, the reason why the things that are important to you is the strongest driving force you ever need. You don't need an app for that. But for me, I have enough competing demands in my day that having the structure of the things that I need to do in order to get to where I want to be, and then being reminded daily with a habit tracker app to do it has been really helpful for me to make progress. Hopefully I've encouraged you to try a habit tracker. I hope also I've given you the idea that consistent effort over a long period of time is going to lead up to big results. So finding a little bit of time in our day to do the things that are important to us, even if it's just for 30 minutes or something, over the years, we're going to see big results from it. And I want to end on an example of consistency from nature. If I ask you to compare the hardness between rock and water, for sure you're going to say rock is the harder material. However, given enough consistency, something as soft as water can erode the cliffs on a beach. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you stick around for more, and if you found it helpful, share it with someone who might benefit from the message. Peace. Too much of our time together. Hopefully,